These are some Dinar Guru updates, starting off with Fleming. In a call with the Central Bank of Iraq, happy news was shared. Iraq has had their interim government in place for the past 2 weeks. They have removed all Iranians, troublemakers from the government. The new approximate golden dinar rate is 1 IQD to $3 USD. The only compelling reason to wait to begin Tier 4 exchange is for the ISO 2022, an ISO standard for electronic data interchange between financial institutions, which goes into effect at the end of the month for the currency all over the world. It's final, the verifiable triggering event. Relax with a hopeful knowledge that this is the end of your long wait. All right, Mark Z via PDK question: do you think they could change the dinar, making notes we hold no good? Mark Z answers eventually yes, after we have all exchanged. After a certain amount of time, the large 30 notes will be no good. Whenever they change to a new series of notes, there's a time period to exchange the old ones before they are no longer good. Militiaman press release: U.S. Department of the Treasury under Secretary Brian Nelson's meeting with the Iraqi Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Ali Alawi. The food law, as they were calling it, is a necessity of the citizens. They've been talking about the GUI in the 2022 budget. For example, the new exchange rate, too, in my opinion. A quote: they discussed challenges facing Iraq, including inflation and pressure on supplies of food and other commodities as spillovers from Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Food prices in Iraq have increased by double digits since the start of the war. A new exchange rate is, in my opinion, all that is needed to curb inflation and bring purchase power. Let's see what the days bring. I like this a lot. It's a very timely piece from the UST. All right, walking stick question: do you think Iraq has enough security and stability right now to reinstate their currency? And Walking Stick says most definitely waiting on a seated government. Nothing else is preventing them from releasing the new exchange rate. They are prepared now to introduce a new exchange and currency. All right, Sampson article quote: the Central Bank of Iraq achieves the highest percentage of hard currency reserves since 2014. The central bank says our cash reserves exceeded $70 billion. All right, Mark Z via PDK says good vibes starting to roll around. There is something in the air. I can feel it. My Redemption Center folks are finally excited again. They believe they will absolutely be working this weekend. I'm getting a lot of chatter from my banking sources. Makes me a little nervous, but tentatively excited. It somehow feels like we have turned a corner. All right, Pimpy from the video quote: why foreign currency reserves are important. Holding foreign currency reserves influence the exchange rate. With large foreign exchange reserves, a country can target a certain exchange rate. For example, suppose a country wanted to increase the value of its currency. It could sell its dollar reserves to buy its own currency on the foreign exchange markets. The increased demand for this currency would appreciate its value. A few years back, Iraq was taking, I think, $1.5 billion a month from their old oil revenues, buying their own currency back off the market. The central bank said cash reserves exceeded $70 billion. Pimpy says the central bank has reserves exceeded $70 billion. This is good. The central bank has reserves exceeded $70 billion. So Iraq continues to build up their reserves with the easier for them to stabilize their own currency. With these reserves, they can increase the value of the exchange rate by buying more of their own currency off the market. Iraq's foreign reserves are increasing. It's just another step in strengthening the Iraqi dinar and then eventually moving up in the exchange rate. Frank 26 question: Ukraine, Russia, will it affect the monetary reform? Frank says no. What does the ruble have to do with the monetary reform of Iraq? It's being destroyed. Is the ruble on par with the Iraqi dinar? No. What they're doing has nothing to do with the beauty, the supreme efforts that are being done by Kazemi and Mustafa for their country, for their currency. The whole world wants to pour into Iraq and do business with them. All right, Petra, press release, U.S. Department of Treasury Undersecretary Brian Nelson's meeting with Iraqi Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Ali Alawi. I'm having a hard time with that food security law. With the budget imminent, what's the need for it? Unless it's a cover for something else. I think we can all agree that the quote unquote actions we are seeing clearly delineate a game plan and strategic execution of timing and global input for Iraq's next move. With prices skyrocketing, they clearly only have one move to protect their citizenry: a global force play. All right. Lastly, Mountain Goat says it looks like there's finally a breakthrough in forming the new government. The announcement has not yet happened, is very close. I'm told it will happen this week, and Saleh and Kazemi will remain in place. This is fantastic news. Not only Sadr, but Kazemi and Saleh both support the anti-corruption efforts. Wow, folks, this is our path to the reinstatement.